welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Here we go. Sorry about that. I was having my computer blew up on me. We'll just say that. Anyways, we're back now, and obviously we didn't really miss much here, just the very beginning of the draft. So apologize for the inconvenience there, but hopefully, cross the fingers, knock on wood, whatever, should be good to go. Advancing on into game number 2 now. VG.J versus Newbee coming at you here. So VG.J, of course, taking the first game. It could have gone either way, no doubt, for so much of that game, but as expected, turned out to be a great one, and VG.J coming through. So we'll see if we have a split series or if VG.J can actually clean the 2-0 sweep of Newbee. They would love that. I'm Breaky CPK, joined by my co-caster PQMZ once again. Got game number 2, man. You have a Sand King Ursa for the side of Newbee this time around.
Yeah, no Monkey King in the first 4. So I have a feeling with the mag actually being banned out by VG themselves, and when they first picked the Lifestealer, it's a huge comfort thing for either aggressive or the team as a whole. And then Newbee just picking up the counter early in the Ursa. Sand King's a bit of a weird first 2 though. Maybe it's just a comfort pick for them, with a lot of the premier offlaners for them being out the pool. Slider was still in though, so I guess it's just preference.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's definitely seems a little odd right there, going a Sand King over a Slaughter, especially when you have something like an Ursa to go along with that, who would definitely benefit from that amp damage, the corrosive phase there. So, what? I guess Sand King brings more of a teamfight presence, a wombo combo potential even with the Warlock that they now have third pick.
And more lane pressure as well, so
reserve time.
They might look to abuse that.
Oh, now the third pick for VG.J. Again, they already have the Lifestealer with the Rubik, but looking for an option to pair up with the Lifestealer still. And so you talked about,
maybe?
Well, Slaughter is an option, right?
Yeah, that as well.
Yeah,
that's still in the pool.
As we were just talking about for Newbee, kind of passing that up. But how about that? It's like, wait a second, they have a Lifestealer. It seems like that makes sense, but they go Phoenix instead.
I think one of the reasons I would opt for something other than the Slider is like, when you play Lifestealer, you have this really strong timing when you hit level 6. But when you hit level 6, no one has Blink. So you want a hero like Earth Spirit, like Phoenix, that has a mobility skill in it themselves and isn't a core necessarily, so it's not as obvious when you go missing from the map with 2 heroes. And this way it gives like a lot more play for the hero. It can move around the map, and if the lanes aren't going so well, you can just you can rectify that. Whereas if you're sat with a Slider trying to farm a Blink, he's going to waddle in with Sprint, I guess, and that's not that scary. You can play around that.
Yeah.
Whereas with Phoenix, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, has that Icarus
and it's
dive.
Also good against Ursa, I suppose. And it goes both ways, but if your core hero is focusing the egg instead of focusing the Lifestealer, it's probably good for VG overall.
Yeah.
Especially now they have Omni, and that kind of helps them deal with the Ursa issue when he doesn't have a diffusal.
Guardian Angel and the Purification Heals in general going to be powerful. So, yeah, somewhat of a defensive team here, you could say. They all got defensive mechanics thrown in, even the Lifestealer with the Rage, of course. You got Rubik applying that null field buff to the team, the magic armor mitigation. So they all got ways to kind of protect themselves, as well as the team right here. So kind of an interesting lineup in that aspect from VG.J. And there is the argument is why get an Omni Knight when you have a Lifestealer who can pop the Rage, of course, and make himself magic immune, but you still think that Omni Knight's actually a very good pickup here?
Well, it's also the fact they have a 5th hero. I'm thinking Storm's got to be on Newbee's mind here, because I don't have the hero pool in front of me, and without it, I generally lack specific heroes, but they do, and I think sure, Nyx is okay against Storm in certain situations, but with an Omni to back him up and then being a secondary vehicle, Omni just makes whichever mid hero they pick so much easier. And it's also a lot of laning pressure. Like Phoenix Omni can somewhat bully supports. And it looks like it's Sand King support, so they might force that hero to stay bottom. and not be putting any pressure top, and then they can look to win their lanes that way.
10 seconds remaining.
Ursa's always an annoying hero to like have melee heroes against, but they have some
5
back and
seconds
forth.
remaining.
Ursa's not that strong in the early levels with like the
Reserve time.
what's it called? The spirits from Phoenix. They're a big deal early. 80% attack speed slow. Well, 80 flat at level 1. Like, you're not hitting through that. You can't man fight that. If Omni's like taking his aura and has an orb of venom, you can bully that hero early.
Yeah, this is going to be my first Phoenix game casted. Actually, I have not casted
ever.
Phoenix yet, ever. I'm someone new to the scene in general, and obviously not the most powerful or popular even here, I should say, at least in recent history. So,
yeah, I think OG is like the only team that picks that hero somewhat frequently.
Yeah, I know.
And
Fly
it's really died off.
I'm looking at Newbee right here. Could they ban TA? It feels like the SC Invoker is an option here that they could probably go with, and great synergy with the likes of a Nyx Assassin, especially at the Sunstrike on top of the Vendetta sneak around and finding the kill target. So
yeah, they definitely want some kind of mid laner that scales into the game. Ursa struggles to take on the brunt of carrying the team on his own, so Invoker isn't a bad option. There's also like OD, Sniper.
10 seconds remaining.
I want Invoker.
Yes, I think everyone watching would like Invoker as well, but it's not an easy Invoker game.
No!
But it's an amazingly good Terrorplay game.
No! Alright, why is that?
Well, they have very few stuns to control him, and without that, Lifestealer's not going to be able to burst through you, and then you just sunder. It holds a lot of Ursa's issues as well. Like, Ursa's not a very good tower pushing hero, but he is a very good hero to take advantage of having an Aegis through raw fighting. So now they have plenty of initiation, and they actually have a way of like getting something from those fights. Terrorblade is a very happy hero when he can just push down a lane. And he's got tons of backup from his team.
All right,
He has somewhat of an awkward lane, I suppose. Jug actually has kill on you, and it's a fairly even lane in terms of last hitting capabilities. But as the game goes on, I really like the TV. It's much better than anything I suggested.
Yeah. Terribly not the most entertaining, but okay. If they're here to
win... I love it. So... If you want to watch a player perspective of someone, you want to watch like micro heroes and see how efficient they are.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this is just me and I'm boring in that respect, but the small decisions and how efficient they are is what makes Dota amazing for me. Mm-hmm. Watching someone hit like 5-man RPs, it's like I've seen it before it happens. It's still amazing when it happens in this kind of game, but...
No, I can appreciate that. No, absolutely. You can respect the skill that's involved when a player's.
It's harder to be efficient and stuff than it is to have 1 or 2 huge clips.
Yeah.
Prepare for battle.
Yeah, at least as someone who like used to play somewhat professionally and like has played at a level where people do that stuff, seeing these people take the heroes to like literally their limit is what makes Dota such an entertaining game for, I think, the more experienced players. And then you have the wombo combo side for the entertaining, and the more casual players, I suppose, love that.
Yeah.
When they don't understand the efficiency as much, maybe. I might be shooting myself in the foot here and saying that people don't want to hear. That's just my opinion.
You're just calling out Twitch chat is all you're doing. No big deal.
Hey, I never said any of them weren't experienced. I'm just saying, so, you know, there could be RTZ watching this.
I heard you say Twitch chat's all 2K players. That's what I heard.
No, that's Bulldog.
All right.
Well. You know, I've never said anything bad about Twitch chat on stream.
Of course not. Never. We would never talk bad about you guys. We love you guys tuning in. And thank you. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah,
Watch
thank you.
DPL coverage here. Hopefully you're entertained. Not only by us, of course, you're entertained by us, but the players, as we're getting at here.
The
So
battle begins.
Yeah, they
Alright.
need to live up to your 9K Reddited standards.
yes, yes. But of course, Kaka, he's running into FY or vice versa. Gonna throw out some harassment there, but both sides gonna protect their own bounty runes, and thus we have the 2-2 split. So nothing too.
Pretty much identical warding as well. Like both
yeah.
teams having like deep vision. The only issue is I'm kind of conflicted on this, but I don't necessarily think having a mid ward is the biggest deal anymore. Because if you don't have a mid ward and you play downhill, like people can't creep aggro on you because they don't have vision of you, and that actually is a huge deal.
This Ursa definitely seems like it's going to be a difficult time for him. At the bottom
Yeah,
lane.
he's gonna need some levels.
Not so.
So
And
Phoenix.
having the Warlock start top, I think, actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So they can't really do anything bottom. So once Ursa gets like boots and his levels, or just lane swaps straight up, this makes a lot more sense. They both have TPs.
Look at FY here. He's kind of living life on the edge to an extent. I mean, he does. There's no caustic finale, of course. He's been using Burrow Strike right here, but he's kind of just tempting fate a little bit. But in the end, he will walk away. And I was gonna say I don't know if he's gonna be using the shrine, but sure enough, he does actually. So
He's so greedy, actually. So greedy.
seemed a little early as a support, especially to be using that. But hey, if he,
It's kind of a big deal though, because like, Omni isn't gonna necessarily need the shrine as much as other offlaners, and if he goes back to base and they like start pulling this camp, which they tried to, it makes the lane a lot different. So it actually is a big deal that he's able to stay in this lane because of that pull.
yeah.
And with this lane swap, I think Newbee will. Like, you see them suffering on the CS because of the lane swap, but if they can somewhat keep these lanes, I think they'll be happier. Because Ursa doesn't really get pressured up here as easily as he does by an Omni Knight. And Nyx can farm in this lane, no worries. There's next to no kill potential either way.
Fenrir leveling up that Icarus dive. Almost level 2 here. So again, being new to watch some Phoenix action here, and I'm sure there's people out there that may be unfamiliar a little bit of such hero. How should we expect to see the skill build as he's going to hit level 2? And, okay, he does get the Sunray. I know you mentioned the Fire Spirits. Is that like a 1.1 ability where he gets that and then that's good, you think? Or
With how they didn't do what I mentioned initially, spirit trading and stuff, you generally go like dive, Ray, spirits, Ray, and it used to be that you used to max the fire spirits, but the sun ray is just, it's not as broken as it used to be because it used to be pure damage, but it's his better spell, and the spirits are just, yeah, as a 1-point wonder, I suppose you could say.
okay.
It normally go 1-1-4, and the hero does a lot of damage early. And this is actually a very feasible kill on the Terrorblade, with the Jug being level 4, having boots.
Let's see. He's in trouble. Icarus dive. There's the Sunray lining up. Toss right back into him, but not going to be nearly enough for a kill as the Impale coming out from Nyx will whiff right there. But just his presence is enough to scare them off. Not wanting to commit. So yeah, no spin even used by Freeze right there. They figured it was a little bit too deep perhaps, and saw the support coming in. So plays it safe. And instead the Rubik will look to once again go elsewhere with that harassment as Phoenix went right back to the top lane in the meantime. Come up here and continue some farm. But we're seeing a lot of rotations, man. Ursa's back to the bottom lane. He's been bottom, then top, now bottom again.
That should help.
Yeah, musical lanes. He's trying to follow where the Lifestealer went, and now the Lifestealer's waddling back to his own side of the map. Surprisingly, though, the CS is not suffering as much from the lane movement as I might have thought. What is suffering, though, is the supports on VG. They're both level 2, and they're not really looking to get too much off of their early rotations.
Oh, FY is being blocked here. Metamorphosis obviously used. Meanwhile, First Blood missed at the top lane as down goes Nyx. Back down here. Rubik will be picked off eventually. watching that hero blocking happen. I thought that was going to be the first blood. Dang it. No, it was not. Nick's going
It was
down top.
close.
But that
Yeah,
was...
He's just putting himself in a lot of compromising positions, and he knows his hero better than most people, so he's obviously gonna find a way to get his levels. I imagine most of it will come through fighting. Once their lineup gets past the laning stage, they're very happy to brawl. Whereas I think Newbee take a bit more time to get online. Like Warlock needs his 6, Sand King needs at least levels. You're not going to have a super early blink when you're playing like this, but you're going to need like level 7. Same thing with Nyx. Mana boots, level 7 or something.
Right, you have ROTK going to farm out some of the jungle camp over here as KP will attempt to steal quite a bit and being a nuisance here with that poor man shield of his, mitigating some damage. You got Phoenix. Oh, Phoenix comes in and snipes the last hit. Good timing right there.
Man.
Well played on his part. Juggernaut back to the middle lane. He's level 6 now. He actually does have that bottle, but unfortunately not going to the rune. The rune is bottom, and it's actually still there. And, well, Freeze will walk on down there. And he'll bottle up a haste rune now. And actually, a bottom lane? Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, he's pushed up, so... Omni Slash is ready.
This is perfect timing.
Oh, man, it is. There's no creep wave except the one creep right there, but it doesn't matter. Still more than enough for the kill. Yeah, talk about that perfect timing, man. The haste rune into the no creep wave, basically. Easy kill.
Sometimes RNG is just on your side.
Yeah.
Dota is a game of very few things that like manipulate the play as much as like the players themselves. But
Radiant's bottom tower is
runes
under
sometimes
attack.
just give you an opportunity you had no right getting.
Hey, he takes advantage of it. A little bit of the RNG there and capitalizes, resulting now the 2-1 lead in favor of VG.J. Obviously, Freeze on that Juggernaut. Amping up his farm.
I really like how they're playing this, where the Terrorblade's sitting in the jungle, giving the mid lane to the Sand King when he wasn't down here warding, and VG are doing the same thing, where the Omni goes to the jungle and gives the Rubik the level bottom, and it's letting them recover from all the movement they did early, and it's still being somewhat efficient, if not more efficient than they were earlier. And now the Phoenix kind of has like free movement of the map because of like all the lane swaps. Pretty easy for them to get kills top if the Lifestealer actually has mana, but
Denied.
he's going Midas, so somewhat interesting.
I mean, Aggressive plays this hero a lot, and I feel like this is actually kind of his typical build usually. So I know he went the Armlet last game, I guess, but we've seen it before on him quite a bit.
I guess it's just the later timing they want. If he went phase and Armlet, he'd probably want to fight a lot earlier, and maybe his teams have the opinion they want to go for a later window.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because Ursa's a strong hero. Warlock is really annoying to fight into early. Like if you want to Icarus dive into take a tower after getting a pick, Warlock's pretty good at messing around with that.
Bottom lane, ROTK in some trouble. Smoke ain't coming in. Metamorphosis activated. Down goes Phoenix. Down goes Omni Knight. And now it's just FY on Rubik. Something tells me he may fall too. Yes, the triple kill for SCC. Talk about exactly what you wanted. That was beautiful execution on their part. A triple kill for the Terrorblade, who's now going to use this Metamorphosis to push a tier 1 tower to top it all off. Oh, VG.J, that's got to hurt them now.
Yeah, they had no idea that was happening. I completely caught off guard. And now they're trying to do the same thing back to them with where the jug's sitting, but this is a lot harder for them to execute. There isn't Warlock ult yet, but just fighting into Metamorphosis is scary in of itself. And he has Sunder as well, so if you get him low and don't go for the kill, it's pretty easy for him to turn.
Metamorphosis is going to wear off right there. Omni Slash, meanwhile, catches Kaka here on the Sand King, the Sandstorm, the Burrow Strike, trying to do everything he can to get away, but Rubik's going to change that, and nice job with the lift to secure the kill even on the Sand King there, so Ursa, not much more he could have done. Save his teammate. Nice find, though, with that Omni Slash yet again from Freeze. And he's going to go right into this early Diffusal Blade. So I know we saw this in the earlier series, in fact. Juggernaut going right into the Diffusal Blade. First item here.
I think it makes a bit more sense against like Ursa for a kiting tool.
Is under attack.
And a way to maybe close the gap on TP. But it's a
Radiant
better
structures
fighting item than the
are
Asher.
fortified. Radiant's bottom tower
Which
is under
is
attack.
kind of conflicting to like the Midas pickup. Maybe a bit of miscommunication, or it's just he deems his items better than the normal builder.
Yeah.
There might be something I'm not giving appreciation to, but at the end of the day, they're playing for a reason. When Dota's about feeling, you know, if he's feeling this item's going to do the right things for him, it's hard to like always do the theory or back it up with theory. Sometimes it's just on feeling.
If it's just like earlier, he'll still get the Yasha into the Manta style. It's just, again, the kind of the opposite style. So as you talked about, just really likes the idea of the Diffusal Blade, at least earlier on here. And he wants to get it as a result as soon as possible. And he has about 1,800 gold almost saved up, so it is going to come pretty quickly right here. Now, top lane, there's some bit of a fight brewing. They've been trying to gank this Lifestealer, I feel like, for a while. Rubik actually is going to steal the Burrow Strike, meanwhile.
Oh, that's actually so smart when their ward's like nearly out as well.
Might as well.
I mean, they get the kill on it, but normally you don't do that kind of thing when your ward's like freshly placed. But the ward was going to expire anyway, so. And having Burrow on Rubik is one of the best spells in the game. Outside of the huge ultimates, this is just consistently amazing. It lets you make so many plays. And the two supports have a lot of solo kill potential on heroes with this kind of stuff. I know there's so much setup for the Lifestealer to do his damage. But I don't think they want to be getting to like tower trades. There's 4 heroes here, and I don't even know if they can push this tower. But Terrorblade on the other side of the map is like, yeah, let's go. You try and push my tower.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely getting yours.
Oh,
And maybe even the one behind that.
God, yeah, he has a Dragon Lance coming along, and actually a chase over here on a freeze to be a big kill if they can secure it, and yes, they will. KP, I didn't even see him coming in from the other side, but neither did Juggernaut. It feels like he really just was between a rock and a hard place right there, and he ends up dropping. Now bottom lane, the Burrow Strike just out of range. Here's a turn kill out of Sand King. Out comes the Chaotic Offering, though. In response, the Sunray from the background healing up a little bit, but not enough. Rubik goes down. Down goes the Phoenix, and the chase is on ROTK now. He actually doesn't even have Repel. He maxed out that Purification and leveling up the Degen aura. It is going to help him kind of escape right here, I guess, but they get 3 kills, and this is going to transition nicely into a nice top tower kill yet again.
Yeah, it just feels like VG have no right fighting right now. They definitely weren't sure of like what they could do on the map. They just kind of had 4 heroes in a lane and thought, tower. Then they just gets picked off on his own, and the rest of the team consequently keeps trying to push. Question mark? They're gonna get a mid tower here if Newbee don't TP quick enough, but I think most of their TP's on cooldown, and Terrorblade doesn't have one.
Yeah, can't get here in time, so will fall no fortification up, obviously, and they will let it go in the end.
Still a huge win for Newbee overall. 2 tier 1s, getting a fight with the Golem, and getting the Terrorblade active early, it just makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Like when he TP's into the middle of the fight and he's able to accomplish something.
Well, have your Terrorblade at 14 minutes, the top net worth, and by a comfortable amount on top of that. It's got to feel really good for Newbee right here. SEC is 7,100 net worth. That's, again, 1,000 higher than the Lifestealer's at 6,100 currently. He's farming well himself, of course, especially with that hand of Midas. You know? Yeah. But
Terrorblade's one of the fastest farming heroes in the game. If not the fastest. You could argue Elk, but that's through gold manipulation as opposed to hitting creeps faster.
Yeah.
I suppose Anti-Mage or Battle Fury is the next contender. But this hero is a lot better at using the farm early, which is why he's such a popular pick at the moment. especially when like Lifestealer seems to be the bread and butter for a lot of teams recently, and Terrorblade just shreds that hero. You have to kill this hero at the start of the fight, and if you don't, he sunders and turns the engagement around for you, and makes the game look extremely easy.
Oh, Nyx, he's trying to find some kind of food. They would love the Juggernaut, who's spinning currently. Oh no, Freeze. Freeze, you're in trouble, buddy. Maybe? Okay, no, the support's not coming in, actually. I thought they were running in with them. So he will actually live. You know, the whole time, the Vendetta Nyx Assassin was on top of him, but couldn't get the support. He places a ward. He's going to farm a little bit, but realizing that Fenrir is coming over, so he'll play it safe right here. Speaking of Fenrir on Phoenix, he's trying to finish his own Hand of Midas. Still quite a ways before that takes place. As top lane, they're going to TP out with their magic community. Can't get the tower kill, though, but they will escape safely. But yeah, how about the Omni Knight going the drums himself? He goes phase boots into the drums, and like I said earlier too, he had the level 3 degen aura on top of that. He had that before the repel even, which he has now at least. But the idea of running you down.
Yeah, just maximizing the like fighting potential of the hero. It's a really strong body, and then trying to take advantage of it.
Oh wow, the Omni Slash cancel pretty quickly right there. Now out comes a Chaotic Offering. Juggernaut just melts. That was a very ambitious jump right there. And that's why they died so fast, isn't it? Yeah, double damage on Terrible. I was wondering what was melting them so quickly.
I mean, the Phoenix dives here with like 400 health and he dies.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not mean to ping that. Whoops.
Dire's middle tower
But yeah,
has
that's
fallen.
the Roshan a tower, I
Dire's
believe.
middle tower has fallen.
Maybe 2 towers. And the joy of this is Terrorblade can do one and Ursa can do the other.
Yeah. It's a great lineup for this strat.
Yep.
Push a tower and Roshan at the same time.
Has fallen to the Radiant.
There we go. That's picked up by Ursa, of course. Yeah, that really seemed like a sloppy decision there by VG.J as a team, ultimately. I mean, and it's just, again, surprising. They played very well last game, and obviously usually just a solid team, but I don't know, watching a bit of Chinese Dota in general, like even these top-tier teams, it feels like every once in a while, things kind of just get a little funky.
Yeah, and I think that's why the game looks so bad for them, because yes, aggressive's on like comfort hero, so is FY, but I don't think they understand their draft necessarily. Is like the message hasn't been communicated very well, because like Omni goes for this really early like fighting build, then you've got a Midas on the Lifestealer who isn't being active at all in the early game.
Top lane, Nyx Assassin will get taken out by the turn kill on a Rubik, and now Ursa. He's having a run back, but he has Kaka nearby. Sand King, he's going to burrow strike through on a Phoenix. Of course, he has a Supernova ready if necessary. Port coming in. That's Warlock, I believe. No ultimate just yet. Throws up the Shadow Word onto his teammate, though. Going to heal up that Sand King, and they're still chasing. U9. He would love to keep going. I mean, he has an Aegis, so.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Terrorblade's just pushing lanes in with Illusion.
Oh, and the real one's here.
To come over.
Real one finds the party. RTK pops the Guardian Angel, though, so that'll stall things a little bit. Terrorblade, I think he used his Sun right there, it looks like on the live stream. They do finally kill Ursa, but again, he's coming right back up. Metamorphosis is ready as well. There we go. Ursa comes back up, and Omni Knight dies immediately. Down goes Rubik, and aggressive. Can he maybe invest something? No, he doesn't have the mana for it. Burrow strike on through. Freeze just joined the party once again. And now he may fall shortly after. And now Lifestealer.
I would not be surprised if they GG.
No.
I really would not be surprised.
Poor Lifestealer.
I mean, if they planned that, like that just shows why they're one of the best teams in the world. The way they played around that Aegis, and they had meta to like the second, where the Aegis dies, and then they have this huge setup from the Boris stun, and then you have this Manta. Meta, Terrorblade. It's just, how do you play against this with VG's lineup? I really don't think they can. They had to like do something earlier, I think, but
Yeah.
I think this is why last pick is the best thing. And this Terrorblade pick just won them the game.
I wanted Invoker still, damn it. No. But yeah, no, Terrorblade obviously made a lot of sense. And it really started with that transition bottom lane. That was a smoke gank, actually. It was him and I want to say Warlock went down there. and then he got
I
that
think it
triple
was
kill.
Dyer's
Sand King from behind.
Yeah,
I
may have
believe.
been
I think
him.
Warlock was already in the lane.
Okay, might have been Sand King then. Somebody running
But
with it. The
regardless-
point is he got the triple kill, and then they obviously just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah, and it felt like they had an understanding of the game from an earlier point. VG didn't. You know, the defusal and the way that Omni built his items and his skill build, and then you see a Midas on your lifestealer who's not moving around when he gets level 6 with the Phoenix. It just felt disjointed.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't blame players for that. You need like a captain's call, and or maybe people disagree or something. It's very hard as an outsider to pick where the problem lies, because I don't think their draft is bad. I just don't think they executed it very well, because they were put in this hard position where they got last picked.
Yeah.
And they had to change how they wanted to play, because they definitely weren't going to be able to play the same window.
Yeah,
But it was a really good game from Newbee. They played with little to no errors.
yeah, definitely have to give them credit, of course. But this game is also kind of it's also interesting because again, obviously these two teams are very, very good teams here in general when it comes to competitive Dota 2. But it really shows you that. Like you even said, I guess not even necessarily the draft, but some games, one team will just get ahead, whether it's the draft, whether it's that early player, that lucky rune that spawned, or whatever it may be. And we had that first game where VG.J won after a grind, back and forth. Now this time, Newbee just destroys VG.J. So if you're to look at this one game, you'd be like, oh my god, Newbee's by far the better team. Well, not necessarily the case, but it goes to show you really just how the game's going to be different from obviously one to the next. From the draft changes and the early play and whatnot. So I think a good example of that. But they will end up a split, and I think both teams, overall can be satisfied with that. And obviously two very good teams going at it. Both get a victory and advance forward here in the round robin now, moving things throughout the rest of the week here. So that's going to do it for this series. Now, as far as us as casters as well, I believe that means we're going to be wrapping up. So we are going to give things over. Drag and Drop is going to be taking over the stream here and joining you guys for the next couple of series. I am honestly not 100% sure which matches they are, but they should be some good ones, no doubt. And I'm sure you guys are going to be continue to be entertained by this awesome Dota 2 that we have coming at us from the China region, at least for the DPL that's happening here. So before we wrap up, though, PQMZ, any shout-outs, anything you want to say?
I'm just happy to cast good Dota. I love watching Tier 1 teams. It's amazing to watch the players.
Yeah.
And then my Twitter's somewhere in the title, shameless plug.
There you go.
And thank you for having me on, dude. It's a pleasure to cast with you.
I was glad to have you on, and thank you for joining me on getting kind of a late notice here. As myself, I wasn't planning on doing this as of 4 hours ago yet. Here I am, and I couldn't be happier. Like I said, it's especially this match right here. When I heard that this was one of the matches, I was definitely all for doing it, and had a good series as expected. So again, had a little bit of the hiccup there, the technical issue, but luckily it was in between the games and came back. But we are going to be shutting down the stream for real this time, for good reason, because again, we're going to be handing over the stream to Drag and Drop once again, I believe, to take it over and cast these next couple of series, guys. So enjoy the rest of the matches here for the DPL. Thanks for tuning in for this first half of the broadcast. Stay tuned, though, guys. More action coming at you. All right, actually, guys, I'm being informed real quickly. So you can stay tuned to this stream. There will be some Dota 2 here eventually. Actually, the Manila Masters is going to be coming up. Obviously, a big match there. I believe it's the finals, if I'm not mistaken, for the Manila Masters. It will be happening here on twitch.tv/Beyond the Summit. If you want to continue watching the DPL action, though, you can head on over to Beyond the Summit 2, Beyond the Summit 2 channel over there, and check that out. eHome Keen versus VG Potential is going to be the next match, and I believe that finishes then with Newbee versus FTDC, are the final 2 games here for the DPL as far as coverage goes. So again, head on over to twitch.tv/Beyond the Summit 2. I'm sure the channel will also host it in the meantime, but as far as this channel, the Manila Masters will be kicking off here in the near future. That, no doubt, should be a fun finish. Again, I believe it's LGD versus IG, set to happen in about 45 minutes from now. So got some good Dota. You got choices, which is always fun. There you go. Anyways, check out any of the action, guys. See you then.